Hi everyone and welcome to Lipstick on a Rig. Today we're going to be making this very simple pencil cup. And for this project we're going to be working with the remnants of one of my SKEIN challenges. So this is some size 4 medium weight yarn, and if you're interested in the other videos in this SKEIN challenge then check the links in the description. We're also going to be using a size H or 8 or 5mm crochet hook. And we're also going to be using a 15-ounce can. And we're going to begin with a magic circle. So drape your tail over your working yarn and insert your crochet hook in the loop, and then yarn over and pull through. From here, we're going to chain 2 and place 12 double crochets inside our magic circle. And once your 12 double crochets are inside your magic circle, then we're just going to pull on the tail to tighten the gap in it. From here, we're going to skip our chain 2 and we're going to slip stitch into our first double crochet. Next, we're going to chain 2 and we're going to place 2 double crochets in each stitch in our row, and that does include this first stitch where we placed our slip stitch. And we want to make sure that we avoid working in this very last slip stitch here. So when you get to the end of your row, you should have a total of 24 double crochets. And at the end of our row, we're going to skip our slip stitch and our chain 2, and we're going to slip stitch into our first double crochet. And the pattern for row 3 is going to be to chain 2, and then we're going to place 1 double crochet in our first stitch where we placed our slip stitch, and then 2 double crochets in our next stitch. And we're just going to alternate between placing 1 and 2 double crochets going all the way around our row. And when we get done, we should have a total of 36 double crochets. And when you get to the end of your row, you're going to skip your slip stitch as well as your chain 2, and you're going to slip stitch into the top of your first double crochet. So from here, what we're going to do is we are going to skip our first 3 stitches, and that first stitch is our current stitch where we placed a slip stitch. And in our 4th stitch, we're going to place a triple crochet. And then we're going to place 1 triple crochet in our next 2 stitches. From here, I want you to pull your skipped stitches forward like this. So sort of in front of your triple crochets. And diving right into our first skipped stitch, which is the first stitch of this row, we're going to place a triple crochet. And you want to make sure that you're working this in front of your triple crochets. So you really want to just grab a hold of these stitches and hold them forward like this. From here, we're going to place 1 triple crochet in the remaining 2 skipped stitches. So now your pattern might look a little wonky, but it should look something like this. From here, we're going to skip our next 3 stitches, and in our 4th stitch, we're going to place a triple crochet. And then we're going to place 1 triple crochet in our next 2 stitches. So just like we did before. And again, pull your skipped stitches forward, and we're going to place 1 triple crochet in each of those 3 skipped stitches, starting with the first skipped stitch. And so now it should look something like this. So from here, we're just going to repeat that going around our row. And at the end of your row, your pattern should look something like this. And you might need to sort of follow the line of stitches to find your first triple crochet. But once you've found it, we're going to slip stitch into it. And we're going to place 1 slip stitch in our next 2 stitches. From here, we're going to skip our next 3 stitches, and we're going to place a triple crochet in our 4th stitch, just like before. And then we're going to place 1 triple crochet in our next 2 stitches, so just like we did before. And then working back in our skipped stitches, rather than pulling them forward like we were doing, we're going to work them from behind instead. And so this might be a little bit hard to find, but I find if I move my triple crochets forward, it's a lot easier to see my 3 skipped stitches. So from here, we're going to start in our first skipped stitch and place a triple crochet there. Then we're going to place 1 triple crochet in our next 2 skipped stitches. And so now your pattern looks like this. And we're going to skip our next 3 stitches, and we're going to place 1 triple crochet in the following 3 stitches. And just like before, we're going to work our 3 skipped stitches from the back this time. And we're just going to place 1 triple crochet in each of those 3 skipped stitches. So now you can see we're starting to create our sort of basket weave checkered pattern. So go ahead and repeat that pattern going all the way around your row, and I'll show you what to do when we get toward the end. And when you make it to the end of your row, your pattern should look something like this, and you should have 3 stitches remaining and then your 3 slip stitches that we made at the beginning of the row. So to finish off this row, we're going to skip our next 3 stitches, and we're going to place a triple crochet in our first slip stitch here. And we're going to place 1 triple crochet in our remaining 2 slip stitches. And so now working backwards again, we want to place our 3 triple crochets in our 3 skipped stitches. And from here, we're going to go ahead and slip stitch into our first triple crochet here. And then we're going to place 1 slip stitch in our following 2 stitches, just like the previous row. And from here, we're going to skip our next 3 stitches, and then we're going to place 1 triple crochet in the following 3 stitches. And so now working in your skipped stitches, we want to move the stitches to the front of our triple crochets like we did in the very first row. So we're going to place 1 triple crochet in the 3 skipped stitches. And the only difference between this row and the last row is that we're working in front of our triple crochets rather than behind. So go ahead and repeat this going all the way around the row, and I'll meet back up with you there. And when you get to the end of your row, your pattern should look like this. And the pattern from here is basically going to be to repeat our last 2 rows. So we're going to follow these last 2 rows to build the body of our pencil cup. And I went ahead and repeated those 2 rows for a total of 7 rows. So from here, what we're going to do is in the stitch where we would normally place our slip stitch, we're going to place a single crochet. Then we're going to start placing 1 single crochet in each stitch in each of our rows. And this pattern should flow like a spiral, so you won't have to worry about starting and stopping your individual rows. And I added about 7 rows of placing 1 single crochet in each stitch in each row, but you can add as many as you would like. But to finish this off, all we're going to do is place 1 slip stitch in our next 5 stitches. And then we are going to cut and tie off our yarn. And I am going to hide my tail down the inside of my pencil cup. And once you've inserted your can into your little sleeve here for your pencil cup, then you're going to push those single crochet rows down inside the can, and that way you won't cut yourself on the edge here. Please let me know in the comments below if you experienced any issues while you were crocheting this, and I will do my best to help you out. If this video helped you, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel, Lipstick on a Rig. Thank you so much for working with me, and I hope you have a wonderful, awesome day.